Welcome back, my name is Lee Fleur's Kitchen. Today I'm going to show you probably the easiest apple crumble recipe. So welcome back to my kitchen where we do a lot of from scratch cooking. Today we're going to make a delicious apple crumble recipe, and this is a recipe that I have been using for years. Now, it's not low carb or anything, I know. I try to do low carb when I can, but this is one of those recipes that I don't want to change. So in winter, I make this and it's absolutely amazing. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to make. So I'm going to show you the ingredients and we're going to get into it. So here's our ingredients, pretty simple. So I have 6 pink lady apples. I love pink lady apples and I already have them on hand, so I'm using those today. If you've got Granny Smith, go for it, but I think those two are probably my favourite ones for making like a crumble or anything like that. And then here I have 1 cup of plain flour, 1 cup of quick oats, half a cup of sugar. You should probably use brown sugar for this. I don't have any, so I'll show you how I'm going to make brown sugar. I've got half a cup of coconut. If you're not a fan of coconut, just increase the actual oats, so by another half cup. Then I've got half a cup of butter, which we're going to melt. And then I have some mixed spice here. So mixed spice has cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice in it, which just goes absolutely amazing with the apples. And then I have an extra 2 tablespoons of sugar that I'm going to dust onto the apples after we've cut them up and coat them with the mixed spice. And that's it. Pretty easy. So firstly, I'm just going to start by peeling out my apples. Peeling apples is just completely optional, but I actually don't like the texture of the actual peels in it, so I'm going to peel them. By all means, you can leave them in. And this is probably the most labor intense part of this cook. It's literally peeling the apples. And if you do maybe do a big batch, maybe once a week, and just keep it in the fridge and just reheat it, you know, you're gonna feel a lot better doing it. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna cube it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna quarter it. And there's 100 ways to cut an apple, this is just the way I do it. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut them in half and just slice it into nice chunks. And then I'm just going to put this into a bowl on the side there until they are all done. And I'll see you back when that is done. So I just changed my bowl because I decided we're going to need a bigger one. Now, what I'm going to do is I've got our 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm just going to put that onto the apples. And then I'm going to add probably about a teaspoon of mixed spice. It smells beautiful. And then we're just going to give that a really good stir. And that's all I'm going to do to the apples. At this time as well, I've got my oven preheating to 170 degrees Celsius, and I'll chuck the Fahrenheit conversion on here as well. And I love pink lady apples because they have just a little bit of sweetness, but they're nice and tart still. So what I have here is a large Pyrex dish, and I'm just going to line the bottom of that with our apples. And you can use any fruit you want. It could be pears, it could be peaches. And this is where I'm going to change it up a little bit. I've got some frozen raspberries here, and I'm going to just put some frozen raspberries in there as well, just to give like a bit of tartness and everything. It's going to be absolutely amazing with it. Straight from the freezer, just in there. Nice and easy. All right, so now we're going to put this aside and we're going to make our crumble. So for our crumble, I'm just going to use the same bowl here, less dishes, I'm going to make it nice and easy. So I said this would be better with brown sugar, and I'm completely out of brown sugar. So I'm going to show you what to do. So I'm just going to dump my sugar in there. And then I also have some molasses in my pantry. And this is like a good emergency thing. I add maybe 2 teaspoons of molasses. And then before I add anything else, I'm just going to give this a really good stir. Ideally, it probably wouldn't matter, but I'm just going to give it a good stir and turn that into brown sugar. All right, so there's our brown sugar. The rest will break up as I add everything else. So what I have here is a cup of flour, just plain old flour, cup of oats, half a cup of shredded coconut, also going to just add just a touch of salt. And then to this, I'm going to add half a cup of melted butter. So you could, by all means, go and rub the actual butter in, so cut it into little pieces and actually rub it in with your hands and everything. I find that's actually unnecessary. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour it in. And this way it actually makes sure all the actual bits of the oats and everything are all completely covered in the actual butter. And we just want to keep stirring until all of that whiteness from the flour has actually gone. And you can see here, every single bit of oat, every single bit of flour is all covered in that butter. So it's going to turn out absolutely amazing. And you're also going to get little crispy bits and everything. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to pour this on top of our crumble. And literally the hardest thing tonight was cutting up those apples. And if you've got canned apples or canned fruit or something, that's just going to make it so much easier. All right, and there we go. So I'm going to bake this in our oven at 170 degrees, or I think it's 325 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to bake it between 45 minutes and 1 hour. The top should be nice and golden, and those apples should be just cooked. So this was baking for about 45 minutes in the oven, and look how golden brown and delicious it looks. And you can see all the crumb, it's all cooked very evenly, which is just fantastic. So what I'm going to do is, I've left it in the oven for a couple of hours, and we're going to have this for dessert tonight. And usually I would serve some ice cream with this, but we're just going to try it out by itself and just see how amazing it is. That is absolutely amazing. So you got that crunchy topping, and some of that topping is also caramelized as well, with that sugar and everything. And then we've got the tartness and sweetness of the apple And we've got that bit of tartness from the actual raspberries as well. Turns out absolutely amazing. And sometimes I even do maybe half rhubarb and half apple. That is absolutely amazing as well. So I hope you give this easy peasy recipe a go, and I hope it turns out great. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.